Hello YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to Outsiders, and continuing our history theme here and building off what we've already discussed regarding the Illuminati, we can now take it a step further. For this practical exercise I'm going to use some diagrams that I'm going to interject within the video, which will show you what I'm referring to here. However, what I would suggest you do is get a $1 bill out if you have one, or search online for this information because it is out there. That's what's so beautiful about it, because your players could do the same, which again gets great buy-in into your games. And what we have is a fantastic basis of building off this society that we're now referring to as the Illuminati. There's nothing wrong with using a name that's already out there because it's very powerful, it does a lot of good for your players, and it's just one name that you can attach any society to or any practice to, which is fantastic. So if you turn over your $1 bill, and there are many symbols, many hidden symbols on the $1 American bill. If we take a few of the Latin names that are used on there, Annuit Septus means he, God, has basically found our undertakings. Basically, it's a meaning of the fact that he has agreed, God has agreed our undertakings are just and right. Doesn't refer to which God, which is really interesting. So again, very useful. And then, of course, you have Novus Ordo Seclorum, which basically means secular new order, often translated to mean one world order by a lot of conspiracy theory people. So again, incredibly powerful. Also, and I'm going to try and show this, and I hope that it will come out, what is quite interesting is if you centre a devil's pentagon on the $1 bill, the letters that it highlights spell out the word Mason, which again gives a fantastic foundation to the basis behind the Illuminati. So if you're trying to create that Masonic feel to your game, or perhaps a guild of some kind of Masons, that can be incredibly powerful. Plus, in this case, for a more modern day conspiracy as well, there are a number of hidden symbols within the dollar which we can cover off in future programs, which also give tremendous weight to the fact that this society was so influential that they were able to change or support the change of even the money of the new world, which is quite interesting within the frame of it. So I find these things fascinating personally. So many things you can draw off, and of course, what is nice with all of this is that it's not that difficult to adapt these very things to a fantasy game or a modern game or a futuristic game fairly easily, for obvious reasons, because you can take a fantasy game and then actually create a monetary system that actually has some of that symbology in it, and players can then relate nice and neatly to it, which I think is quite cool. So hopefully, like me, you're already seeing that's actually pretty exciting. And in the next video, what we'll do is we'll then look at the birthplace of, we'll look at the I think we'll refer to it at this stage as at the very least, a hotbed for these very people at the very beginning. So we're going to look at actually Washington DC in some detail, which Dan Brown did do in his book, but we're using this because again you could use some of that basis for city design, and within the city design of course create various symbols that aren't immediately obvious, but as you do your tracings, your outline, they become very obvious, and they have tremendous power in the game that create a fantastic flow for your fantasy games, and something that can really get your players excited. So have a little look at these little pieces, and I hope, like me, it's something you're finding quite interesting. Again, I'm going to need your feedback to see that it's relevant and of use. Otherwise, of course, I can only. There's no point me flogging a dead horse. It has to be something of relevance. But I hope, like me, you're liking the tangible links here and seeing that this building into something a little bit bigger, because ultimately this could grow on and on and on, and that's my intent, to try and take it as far as we can, weave it and take it and use it. Now, all of the things we've suggested and we're talking about here, I'll have to recap this very quickly, naturally will hold water because it's actually there. It's going to feel like, yes, it could actually happen. It might be happening. It's got that feel to it. Now, I'm not for 1 minute saying that it is or it isn't. The reality is that these things are there, and it's lovely when you can get this feel to a game because it brings that buy-in that I keep talking about, and the submersiveness without you having to say much. The players will just start feeding into that frenzy and begin getting their own getting themselves very paranoid but very excited with what you're trying to do in your game. So that's why I share it. Anyway, I've been Sean Connors. This has been the next steps of the Illuminati, building the fabric that binds them together. And in the next video, we look at one hotbed location where the Illuminati have recently existed as we begin to peel back the layers of history on them. Anyway, thank you. I've been Sean Connors today. This has been Outsiders. Until next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.